And good morning, everybody. Hot takes, Goodman and Haertl. How are you, my friend?
Well, I think I'm better than the Nuggets this morning. I mean,
Yep.
the sun came up for me. I think hopefully it did for the Nuggets.
Yep.
They've still got a chance left in Game 6 at home, obviously, but nothing's changed. Still got to win a game in Oklahoma City to win this series. But Eric, man, what an opportunity last night they had, huh?
Well, you know what's funny that you should say that is that isn't that what we said about the Avalanche against the Stars?
Yeah.
Blown leads in either the fourth quarter or the third period, really the same thing. The difference is, when you have a lead, 1-goal lead, a 2-goal lead, that's easier to hold than, say, a 6-point lead going into the fourth quarter of a basketball game.
Yeah, I agree. The failure of the Nuggets in the final periods in each of the last two games is a annoying and concerning storyline, but it shouldn't be a surprising one, considering the amount of minutes that their starters are playing, how the rosters are being used. But Eric, I thought shot selection was key in the fourth quarter. Who was taking the shots was key in the fourth quarter. The Nuggets really had a great chance to get out of there with a win last night. There's a lot of things in the micro and plenty of things in the macro that we can get into about the Nuggets, and I'm sure that we will over the next 45 minutes or so. But I went to bed last night just kind of shaking my head.
Right. Hey, listen, if you want to watch tomorrow night's game, you want to go out and watch it, my suggestion is Sportsbook Bar and Grill, two great locations. One is in the DTC. The other one is in Highlands Ranch. The one in Highlands Ranch, that is my neighborhood bar. Both places, outstanding menu. You can start with some appetizers, whether like Brussels sprouts, cheese curds. If you're into egg rolls with a twist, Philly cheesesteak egg rolls. When it comes to stuff on their menu, burgers, too many to count. Great wings as well. The place is always filled with tons of energy. It is a sports bar that was started by sports fans. And if you were to start a sports bar and you walk into either location, I think you would probably say, this is the type of sports bar I would open. And that's why you should go there. Go find them in the DTC, Highlands Ranch, and coming soon to Parker. Time now for the lead.
The Lead is presented by Sasquatch Casino, a family-owned casino that treats you like family.
Okay, so let's talk about the narrative over the opening three games, with two of them being Nuggets wins. Wow. The Nuggets have championship mettle. They are a championship team. It's hard to put down a champion. Now, granted, it was a couple of years ago, and I understand that. Now, the narrative is, well, even though Oklahoma City doesn't have championship mettle because they haven't won a title and they are a young team, they are now proving to themselves and proving to everybody else they are ready to take that next step.
Yes, they are ready to take that next step. And I'm not going to say to a large degree, but by some measure of degree, it's helped being facilitated by the Nuggets, who in the fourth quarter, look, when you have roster challenges like they have right now, you are going to be left with the challenge of finding guys with fresh legs. It evidenced in their shooting in the previous game and then again last night, but it also is evidenced in their defense. Their ability to close on three-point shots, their ability to really defend the entire floor, to make really crucial moves over to help out when the ball gets moved from side to side. Those are things that weren't happening last night. All of a sudden, guys like Lou Dort are beating you, right? With three triples at very inopportune times. You're not hitting your shots because you can't get set with your legs. Fatigue. That's been a theme of these playoffs as well. But yeah, you're right, Eric. I mean, that's Oklahoma City's cachet is rising. And the Nuggets they're in the final 8. They still have a chance to force a game 7 in the Western semifinals. There's value in that. But we're talking about a team that was a NBA champion, looking like a team that in the years since then has not been able to get back to the Western Conference Finals, let alone an NBA final.
Anybody who follows this team, who has any degree of being unbiased, could see this coming. Whether it was going to be in the last round, this round, or even in the next round. The analogy I will use is this. It's like the Indianapolis 500. Let's say, for the sake of argument, and I do not know how many times it happens, you go into a pit stop and they do all kinds of things, including changing your tires. The Nuggets tires are going bald. Because when you look at Oklahoma City, they can go in for all kinds of pit stops whenever they feel like it to rest their starters, and they're not going to lose any steam. For the Nuggets, they're losing the tread on their tires late in the race. We've seen it over the last 2 games in which they've had a pair of fourth quarter leads that they have lost. Jokic was phenomenal last night. Jamal Murray was terrific through 3 quarters. Listen, for the most part, a lot of guys were really good through 3 quarters.
Mm-hmm.
But when you have SGA leading Oklahoma City in minutes with 39, and then you have 3 Nuggets with 40 plus, Jokic, Murray, and Brown, this attrition was predictable, wasn't it?
Yes, because to your point, it has a cumulative effect over the course of when you're playing 8 games in 15 days. And I know that people say, well, wait, they get a day off, they get to, well, they're playing 8 games in 15 days, and they're playing an average of 43, 44, 45 minutes. It does have a cumulative effect. Yes, they're highly trained athletes that are in the bloom of their prime. I get all of that. The fact of the matter is, you're traveling, you're doing a lot of different things. And look, I'm not getting the violin out for anyone, but to the point with the Nuggets, the way that the roster is constructed and the level of trust, or in this case, the lack of trust that exists in the roster, this is where the Nuggets are right now. This is the bed that they've made for themselves. You've loved to have talked, and we've done this over the last 3 years, about Bruce Brown a couple of years ago. When you lose players that provide depth for you and that allow you to take guys out of arguably one of the best starting 5s in the NBA and give them rest so they can be good for as long as possible into the postseason. These are things that they no longer have that luxury. You know me and social media. I'm not a social media person. Should be probably more than I am, but I do get a lot of push. I get a lot of feedback, and I got a lot of feedback last night from people that were talking about, and this is what drives me nuts. And everybody's entitled to their opinion, but don't start pulling players off of the bench that haven't been asked to play in pressure situations, that have no leverage at all in pressure situations, and expect Pickett and Strother to be able to make plays down the stretch. It doesn't work that way. And I heard Adelman taking a lot of heat because of the way that he used his roster last night. Eric, his roster is his roster.
Yep.
You got to have faith in the guys that you're playing. And for people to just assume that you can bring Pickett off and all of a sudden play him in high leverage moments of a game when he hasn't played in the series at all. Now you can argue, well, that's their problem. They should have played him in the series. Okay, I'll listen to that, but that's a trust issue as well. So this is what I'm talking about in the macro, where the Nuggets are. They don't have the roster the way that they need to have it. That's their fault. They didn't manage that situation well. Some of it was economic. Some of it was just bad decision-making. And unfortunately, they're having to taste the sour fruit of their decisions.
Simply put, if you took Bruce Brown and KCP
Right.
and put them on this team today, not what they did 2 years ago, today, they give you minutes off the bench and they give you some quality minutes as well in terms of scoring, doing whatever. Put those two guys on the team. I know it seems like a dumb statement, but it is a couple years removed. Nuggets win the game last night.
Yes.
They win the game a couple nights ago.
Yep. I would say that's correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're talking about 2 fourth quarters that they haven't been able to close. 2 winnable games, leads in the fourth quarter that they couldn't control.
Let's look at the Lakers series. I think it was last year or was it 2 years ago? I can't even remember. When LeBron played the entire fourth quarter. The entire second half.
Yeah.
Or pretty much the entire game. And in the fourth quarter, really in the second half, he was worn down.
Mm-hmm.
Remember what I'm talking about?
Yeah, it was actually last year. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
I can't tell you what I had for lunch yesterday. Why in the world would you expect me to remember a game from last year? The point is, we all knew with LeBron eating up nearly 47 minutes, eventually he was going to run out of gas, and that's exactly what he did. How many minutes did Jokic sit in the second half yesterday?
Zero. Yeah.
Zero. Yeah.
Right. And the irony is their offense should have been in the fourth quarter, and look, I know Nikola Jokic is the ultimate unselfish player. Sometimes he's unselfish to the detriment of the team. And he was, to your point, spectacular last night. Spectacular. You had the best of Nikola Jokic. And when you're sitting and making decisions like the Nuggets were with who was taking shots and where they were taking shots from, I think they would have been far better. And this isn't an observation in hindsight, even though I'm making it in hindsight. In the moment, I think Jokic has to be more involved in scoring. When you're going through a 5 or 6 minute, when you're going through a 5 or 6 minute stretch, to me, you basically better come down, identify where the big fella is, and then and then he's got to get shots. Period.
Wait a minute.
He's got to get shots.
Bruce.
Yes.
Bruce, are you suggesting that a team outside of Jokic shot 1 for 18 from the floor in the fourth quarter, and that one shot was basically a giveaway bucket to Murray at the end of the game?
Right.
Are you suggesting that Jokic should not trust his teammates in crunch time? What kind of stats back that up? 1 for 18. Give me some empirical proof that Jokic cannot trust his teammates in the fourth quarter. I'm willing to listen to that 1 for 18, except for that Murray bucket that was basically given to him. Show me. Prove it to me.
And that's the dilemma, isn't it?
Yeah.
It really is. That's the dilemma. And you got to live with that. You got to live with that if you're Nikola Jokic. You got to live with that if you are David Adelman. You've got to live with that if you're the Denver Nuggets. And look, they may win Game 6 at home. And you know what? They have proven that they can play at a high level in Oklahoma City. I wouldn't pick them in a Game 7 in Oklahoma City. They will be double-digit underdogs in a Game 7 in Oklahoma City. But you got a chance.
Wait a minute.
A shot.
Wait a minute. I like their chances of winning Game 7 better than I like their chance of winning game 6.
Okay.
Extra day of rest.
Yes, you do get an extra day of rest. That's exactly right. You
Now-
don't play until Sunday after a game that'll be played on Thursday. That helps.
I like home court advantage as much as anybody,
Right.
but I'll take the extra day of rest over home court advantage.
You know the Thunder are just going to be firing with both barrels in game 6. I mean,
Well,
and
the Nuggets
this
will be a
is
little bit more fresh.
this is their moment to they've got confidence from 2 fourth quarter finishes
Mhm.
for a team that had no proof that they were closers in playoff situations. Now all of a sudden they've got that confidence, and I think that they feel, if I were them, I would feel like they've got the Nuggets just a little bit on their heels right now. Not a ton, but just a little bit on their heels. And you know something, Eric? When you talk about teams, and you like to use the term killer instinct, they have that instinct. I think Oklahoma City has that instinct.
They might, but I'm going to give you a little pushback on something.
Go.
And compare it to the Avs Stars series. The Stars were closers. That's what they did. They closed against the Avalanche in the third period.
Yep.
Oklahoma City's not closing. On its surface, they are. Oklahoma City is not closing out the Nuggets. They are not. They are beating a team that is poorly constructed with their roster. They are beating a team in the fourth quarter that is tired. They are not beating a team because they are better in the fourth quarter. It's kind of like, I don't know, you play a lot of pickleball. Have you ever been in a long match against somebody and you guys are equally as good, but that guy's out of shape and you're not?
Yeah.
And you know by the time it gets deep, fatigue makes cowards of us all.
Yeah.
The Nuggets are losing because they are exhausted. The Nuggets are losing because they don't have a bench to spell starters. The Nuggets are losing because they have a bench that when they're in the game, they don't score and don't really contribute a whole lot. And when you have a bad game from Russell Westbrook, you're definitely screwed. And when you're not getting any production out of Porter Jr., you're screwed. I don't think Oklahoma City is showing killer instinct to me. And I might be alone in that. It seems like I'm trying to take something away from them. I'm not. They're beating a tired basketball team. And you should always beat a tired basketball team when you are playing 10 guys. And yes, Strawther got some more minutes, which is great. So maybe they're playing, 3 guys off the bench, but what kind of production are they truly getting? They are beating a tired basketball team in the fourth quarter. And that's what they've done. It's not that the Nuggets have lost their killer instinct. They have core guys who have won a title. The core is still there. But I don't care what kind of killer instinct you have if you can't run up and down the floor. So I'm not going to give Oklahoma City that much credit that suddenly they have found that killer instinct and they've climbed that road.
No, I wouldn't say suddenly. I think it's a gradual thing. I think it's a gradual thing, and that's kind of my point. I don't think
They're beating a tired team. They're beating a tired team.
They're seeing the ball go through the hoop, and that makes a huge, huge difference. And you can argue that that's because the Nuggets can't defend at the level that they did very well through most of this game, right? They did, and all of a sudden you get to the fourth quarter and you're looking for the reserves in the tank. I'm not talking reserves off the bench. I'm talking about, do you have that next level that you can get to? And the answer in the last 2 games for the Nuggets has clearly been no. But don't tell me that Oklahoma City isn't garnering confidence in themselves as a young team to finish off games in whatever form it is.
Mm-hmm.
I think that this is a team that's gaining confidence. They haven't been to a Western final. They're one step away now. They're 48 minutes away from getting to a Western final. I would bet on Oklahoma City to play very well in Game 6.
Okay.
I really would.
I will ask you. You were an athlete growing up. You played baseball in college, but I'm going to use pickleball as my example.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say you have never gotten through the bracket completely in your pickleball tournament, and year after year you take minor steps, but you're getting further into that Final Four, if that's what you want to call it. And you got a big match against a guy who's pretty good, and you know he's pretty good.
Yeah,
but he's also pretty overweight and pretty out of shape. Okay, it's a really you're down. You're down late, but you can see the guy tugging on his shorts,
laboring. Right. Okay.
He's huffing and puffing. I mean, he can barely get back to the service line. And you wind up beating this guy. Do you feel that you have crossed that barrier, or did you just beat a guy who is out of shape, ran out of gas? Do you really feel that good about yourself that you beat him, knowing?
I don't know if you. I don't know if I'm on board with your comparison and the premise of your comparison.
Well, let me give this to you. Or this guy's in great shape, it's close throughout, and like Seabiscuit, you're neck and neck, and you pulled away. Not because he ran out of gas. It's just because you were better and you were mentally tougher.
I don't think anyone on Oklahoma City is thinking, oh, thank God that the Nuggets have a bad bench. Thank God they've only got 4.5 guys. I think they're thinking we're up 3-2 on a damn good team with arguably the best player in the world on it. And we are in a situation to close. And I think that that's going to give them, I think that gives them a real burst of wind in their sails for tomorrow night in Denver.
Well, good. It gives them a burst in their sails, okay, but they're not being realistic. They're on the floor with a team that looks gassed. They're beating a team that is tired. They can't go any more minutes. If you want to believe in your head that you now have this closer's mentality in the playoffs, fine. Run with that narrative in your head.
Are you telling me that they don't have a championship mentality? Do you not see a path for them to win the NBA championship? Because I do.
I didn't say that. I didn't say that they can't win the championship. As a matter of fact, they should win the championship.
Well, isn't a part of that being able to overcome a team like Denver, who they obviously respect? They've talked about it. In fact, they've been very complimentary about they knew that this would be the series that was going to push them and to stretch them. I don't know, man. I think Oklahoma City's picking up very valuable confidence in this series.
I think it is a false positive for them.
Fair enough.
I am not saying they aren't good enough to win the championship. Heck, at the beginning of the year, when we were doing radio, I said Oklahoma City is by far and away the best team.
Well, they proved that during the regular season, right?
But then again, I said that last year, that Oklahoma City was that good. You could see them building their roster and the talent that they had. I'm not saying they're not good enough to win a title. All I'm saying is, before you throw the word championship medal on them, which they've never won a championship and have never been to a Western Conference final, they are playing a team that by its own doing, the Nuggets, is hobbled because of roster construction and bench. It's not Oklahoma City's fault that this is the way the Nuggets bench was built and that Adelman only wants to really use his starters. And quite frankly, I don't blame him for only wanting to use his starters. But when you know that you're beating a team because they're tired, it doesn't mean you have championship medal. It just means that you're fresher. Let's look at the opening 2 of 3 games in this series when the Nuggets were fresher. Who won those games? The Nuggets did. Now they're more out of gas. As I said earlier on in this segment, now there's more tread off the tire, and they can't come in for a pit stop. That's why the Nuggets are losing these games late. They're getting more and more worn down. I thought it was going to happen in the Clippers series. To the Nuggets' credit, they got out of the Clippers series, right?
Well, you earn championship medal by, of course, winning a championship. So, yes, technically, Oklahoma City hasn't earned, they don't have championship medal because they haven't played even in a championship. However, they're deep, they're talented, they're for their starting five is fantastic. Defensively, they are the best team clearly in the NBA, and they are made for the long haul. I think they're going to prove it in this series, and I think that Denver deserves a great deal of credit for getting this series to where it is right now and still with an opportunity to push it to a game 7. I'm not diminishing that in any shape or fashion, but I would not be surprised, just as, and I'll push this back to hockey as well. I won't be surprised to see Dallas in the Stanley Cup Finals.
Right.
I won't be surprised to see Oklahoma City in the NBA championship. And by the way, won't be surprised if either one of those teams win their respective championships. In fact, I would probably call my shot right now and say both of them are my favorites to do it, for whatever that's worth.
All right, coming up after the break, what, if anything, should David Adelman do about Michael Porter Jr.? He has shown toughness to play in this series with the shoulder injury. But with the season on the line and he's not really contributing anything, does a change need to be made? That's next.
Sasquatch and Wildcard Casinos in Blackhawk have another incredible promotion. They'll be giving away a Ford Bronco Raptor or nearly $30,000 in cash the weekend of May 23rd. Get finalist entries from 10 a.m. until midnight during their daily cash drawings every 45 minutes or by redeeming player points. And all daily cash drawings that don't get picked are eligible for a second chance drawing on Wednesdays, and that can turn into extra cash. Sasquatch and Wildcard Casinos, a family-owned casino that treats you like family.
Spice up your next night out at Nola Jane and Lodo. Authentic Cajun cuisine like andouille sausage gumbo with dirty rice, crawfish etouffee, as well as 6 different po' boys like soft-shell crab and shrimp. Come in before or after a game at Ball Arena. Host a party or party on their rooftop deck overlooking Market Street during happy hour from 11 a.m. to 5. Plus, Nola Jane caters, delivers, and the kitchen is open late night. Make Nola Jane your new favorite spot to eat, drink, and party like it's Mardi Gras.
Everyone has their favorite barbecue spot. Mine, Smokin' Dave's Barbecue and Brew. My favorites, slowly smoked ribs, smoked corned beef Reuben, smoked meatloaf with a portobello balsamic cream sauce. And don't forget about Smokin' Dave's 16-hour smoked brisket and pork with one of their 4 homemade barbecue sauces. Great sides, you bet. Barbecue beans made with pork and brisket and their southern corn bake. Man, you gotta try it. Plus, they have amazing non-barbecue entrees on the menu. Go where I go, Smokin' Dave's Barbecue and Brew in North Denver.
Ever wondered where city and county fleet vehicles go when they retire? Now's your chance to find out and score big. Imagine driving away with a great deal on a reliable vehicle. For over 45 years, Roller Auction has been the trusted source for government fleet vehicles and equipment. Trucks, SUVs, sedans, and more, all selling to the highest bidder. Don't miss out. Visit roller.bid/hot takes to get auction updates today. Your next vehicle could be just a click away.
Everyone has their favorite sports bar. Mine, the Sportsbook Bar and Grill in Highlands Ranch in the DTC. Both locations are everything a sports bar should be. An upscale menu with 12 different burgers, outstanding wings, and my favorite, the Philly cheesesteak egg rolls. They've got every game on the NFL Sunday Ticket, MLB Extra Innings, NHL Center Ice, NBA League Pass, plus soccer, rugby, and UFC. Sportsbook is a hangout bar or great for private parties. The Sportsbook Bar and Grill in Highlands Ranch, the DTC, and coming soon to Parker. They are the sports bar. And welcome back. Hot Takes, Goodman and Haertl. Michael Porter Jr. What does David Adelman do about him going into what could be a closeout game in this series? Dealing with a significant shoulder injury. We all know that. He's showing toughness by playing. That's great. But he has scored 3 points or less in 3 of the 5 games while shooting 25% from the floor in the series. 25% is not his 3-point shooting average. That's his field goal average. Strother, Watson, Westbrook, at this point, do you make a change?
I don't know if you make a change relative to the starting lineup. David Adelman doesn't appear to be open to that. Maybe things change now, but I think you got to change the minutes. And unfortunately, they don't have a real answer. Strother did give them minutes. He didn't hurt them, I think, yesterday. Can you put him in a zone situation to take away the myriad of defensive deficiencies that he has on ball, for a guy that can rebound with two arms and maybe hit you a shot every now and then? And look, that's basically what it's come down to. And I don't know what Adelman thinks in that regard. Look, he's shooting 14% in his last two games. He hasn't hit a three-point shot. In fact, Eric, he's barely even come close to hitting a three-point shot. And he was taking two of them in basically the last minute and a half, 2 minutes of the game last night in crunch time. More power to his fortitude and the thinking that he can help his team. But the fact of the matter is right now, he's not doing anything to help this club. The problem is you have last Friday night dangling out there for people where he was electric, where he was a difference maker in this game. But I don't know, man. You've got 48 minutes left in your season now. You better figure out something to do that gives yourself a better chance. And I'm not sure that Michael Porter Jr. figures prominently in that formula. But look, it's also, what about Christian Brown and Russell Westbrook right now? I mean, Christian Brown got to the point last night where it was like, basically they weren't even flashing a guy to defend him. He just wasn't hitting shots.
Right.
They were playing basically with three guys last night. Really, when you get right down to it, three guys were pulling the train along for the Nuggets last night. That's an awful tough situation to be in if you're a head coach trying to figure out minutes.
Well, if you're referring to Jokic, Murray, and Gordon as those three guys, is that who you're referring to?
Well, I mean, generally, right?
Okay. Well, playing a basketball game 10-on-3,
Tough.
I'll go with the team that has 10.
Yeah.
Even
Absolutely.
if you have the best player in the world. By the way, I laugh when I hear this all the time, because you see people on social media, just trade Michael Porter Jr., get rid of him for a bag of balls. Just dump him. The only way they're going to get any trade value for Michael Porter Jr. is if the Nuggets win this series, and then Michael Porter Jr. has a tremendous series in the Western Conference Final. Because if the stock market thinking is buy low and sell high, right now, looking at Michael Porter Jr., he is a stock that you don't even want to touch. No. Because it is so high in terms of salary.
Yep.
And he has 2 years left on his contract. If he goes anywhere, God bless the new GM for fleecing another team. And it's not a knock on Michael Porter Jr. He's a great kid.
Yep.
But he's always been inconsistent. Okay? That's what separates all-stars from also-rans who want to be all-stars. It's consistency. With all due respect to Jamal Murray, that's why he's never been an all-star. He's never been consistent enough in the regular season. It's a regular season prize. 21 points a game, Jamal Murray's regular season high, which was this season, ain't going to cut it for an all-star game. Yeah. But getting back to MPJ, I applaud him for playing with a drop foot. I applaud him for playing with a back that's been probably nagging, I don't know, since he was 10.
Sure.
Then you have the shoulder. But who's going to want that contract over 2 more years? Who's making this trade? I mean, when people propose trades, fans propose trades, they are assuming that the other team doesn't know what we know.
Michael Porter Jr. is making $36 million a season on his deal. That basically, as you pointed out, runs for 2 more years.
By the way, next year's 38 and the final year is 40.
40.
Going
So good luck finding a trade partner for that deal. It could be significantly less, Eric, and I think you would find it would be difficult to find a trade partner. That's not going to happen. And it's easy for fans to be flippant about the economic situation and the limitations that it brings to a team. It is frustrating when you see a player not playing well at a key time, because this is it, right? The Nuggets are a championship team. They're in a championship window. Well, it's frustrating, but this is where the Nuggets are right now. And how is it really going to change? I mean, I'll ask you point blank. You're starting a monster contract worth over $200 million to Jamal Murray next year. You've still got 2 years on a deal with Michael Porter Jr. that's going to pay him over 70 some odd million dollars over the next 2 years, close to $80 million in the next 2 years. And Eric, unless someone can convince me otherwise, you're stuck with it. I don't think they could even move. I don't think that they could move Jamal Murray right now.
No.
I mean, where's the market for Jamal Murray?
Injury history.
Right.
I mean, okay, I'll ask you this. And I'm not suggesting he did this on purpose, but wouldn't it be something if Tim Connelly was somehow clairvoyant and he knew a job was coming for him and he knew the job was in division, and he said to the team courting him, watch this. Hey, Michael, let me give you a big fat new contract, even though you haven't shown anything yet and you have a history of injuries. Think about Porter Jr.'s contract being used for, say, Bruce Brown and KCP right now.
Yeah.
The numbers don't totally add up.
No.
But when you're that close, you can find a way to make it add up. Or at least you get some pieces. With that, Bruce, I want you to repeat after me, okay?
Okay.
Will you repeat after me?
This is somewhat dangerous, but I'll wade in.
Win, win, win.
Win, win, win.
Loss, win, win, loss.
Loss, win, win, loss?
Yes, we are now setting the table for every sportscaster in town, radio, TV, blogger, podcaster, where we're telling them how to spend the rest of your day as the Broncos schedule officially comes out today. So again, repeat after me. Win, win, win.
Win, win, win.
Loss,
win,
win,
loss, loss, win.
There we go.
Okay,
so
there we go. I can't even follow it.
You're ready for tomorrow's show because it is one of the most nonsensical exercises in the history of sports. But I'm ready for it when that schedule comes out.
Well, we'll have a lot more to talk about tomorrow, right? So there you go. I mean, if you can't make 40 some odd minutes out of a schedule coming out in the NFL, what good are we to humanity?
And by the way, congratulations to the Colorado Rockies. The worst team in baseball history, winning percentage, was the Cleveland Spiders.
Mm-hmm.
The Rockies were behind, I think, the Pittsburgh Alleghenies for the second worst record of all time, winning percentage. Last night, the Rockies passed the Alleghenies, and now they are number 2 on the list. And as it was famously said, who does number 2 work for?
But hey, by the way,
Mhm.
I was reading this yesterday, or I was looking at this yesterday.
Mhm.
They're like 14 games behind the pace of the Chicago White Sox
Yeah.
from a couple of years back, right?
Yeah.
When that won like 41 games. I
The
mean,
most
yeah, something like that. So, I mean, the Rockies are even behind that pace right now for the modern era.
the fewest wins in the modern era, which is 1901 to now, which is roughly 125 years.
Mm-hmm.
The fewest wins are 38 wins. And a lot of that is based on 154 game schedule too.
Yeah.
Now you get 162 games. Right now, the Rockies are on pace to win 27 games this season.
27.
So now that we did this exercise for the Broncos schedule coming out, let's practice this for the Rockies. Repeat after me. Loss, 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 win, loss, loss, loss. Repeat after me.
Well, I mean, that's basically what they've been doing, right?
Yeah, I don't even need to see their schedule.
No,
Nope.
right?
Yeah.
My God.
All right. That's going to do it for us. Hot Takes, Goodman and Haertl. We'll talk to you tomorrow.